Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins Collections, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Today, we're going to uncover the fascinating story behind one of the most sought-after coins in American history, the 1945 silver dime. At first glance, this may seem like just another coin from the mid-20th century, but it's hiding a secret that could make you a small fortune. If you're ready to discover the value of this iconic piece of U.S. currency, stick around until the end, where we'll reveal just how much this rare dime could be worth today. Let's start with a little history. The 1945 silver dime is part of the famous Mercury dime series, which was first minted in 1916. These dimes are known for their elegant design featuring Lady Liberty, often referred to as Winged Liberty, wearing a winged cap that symbolizes freedom of thought. The coin's obverse, designed by Adolph A. Weinman, quickly became one of the most beloved designs in American coinage history. Now, while the Mercury dime itself is a popular and widely collected coin, the 1945 silver dime stands out for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, it was minted during the final years of World War II, a time when the United States was fighting on multiple fronts and experiencing extreme economic and social pressure. Coin production during this period was essential, and the mint had to make sure they had enough dimes to circulate for everyday use. As a result, the 1945 silver dimes were minted in high numbers, which means they were widely circulated, and many of them have seen their fair share of wear and tear over the decades. But here's where it gets interesting. While most 1945 dimes are fairly common and can still be found in pocket change or among old coin collections, there is a rare variety of the 1945 silver dime that is worth a small fortune. In particular, the 1945 dime minted in Philadelphia, without a mint mark, is one of the most valuable coins in this series. Why, you might ask? It's all about the coin's condition, rarity, and unique characteristics. The 1945 Mercury dime was struck in 90% silver, making it both historically significant and valuable for its precious metal content. During the early 1940s, silver was in high demand for the war effort, so the mint produced large quantities of dimes. However, because these coins were used extensively in everyday transactions, most of them were worn down, tarnished, or damaged. Finding a 1945 silver dime in pristine, uncirculated condition is a rarity, and that's what makes these coins so highly prized by collectors. But the real value of the 1945 silver dime lies in its condition and its surviving rarity. Coins that have been preserved in mint state, with no visible signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, are far less common. The number of 1,945 dimes that have remained in such excellent condition is incredibly small, which drives up the price. When you factor in that the Mercury dime is already an iconic coin, and then you add the rarity of a well-preserved 1945 silver dime, you've got a coin that commands serious attention in the numismatic world. What's even more interesting is that some 1,945 dimes feature special characteristics that increase their value. A few examples of this include coins that were struck with minting errors, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or other irregularities in the design. Mint errors are a collector's dream because they add an element of uniqueness to the coin. For example, a 1945 silver dime with a double die error on its obverse could be worth significantly more than a standard 1945 dime in similar condition. Another important factor to consider when determining the value of a 1945 silver dime is its silver content. As I mentioned earlier, these dimes are made of 90% silver, which makes them highly valuable, not just for their rarity but also for the value of the silver itself. At current silver prices, the melt value of a 1945 silver dime is already worth several dollars, which gives it a baseline value. But when you consider the collectible aspects of the coin, the price can escalate dramatically, especially if the coin is in excellent condition or has one of those coveted mint errors. Now, for the moment you've been waiting for, just how much can a 1945 silver dime be worth? If you happen to have one of these rare, uncirculated 1945 dimes in your collection, or if you found one in mint condition, you could be looking at a truly impressive payout. Depending on its condition and any unique characteristics it might have, the value of a 1945 silver dime can range from a few dollars to several thousand. But the highest-priced 1945 silver dimes, especially those with minting errors or in perfect condition, have been known to fetch prices in the ballpark of $58,000. That's right, $58,000. That's the kind of money that could make a huge difference for any coin collector or investor. Imagine stumbling upon one of these rare beauties in your coin jar or finding it among an old collection you've had sitting in a drawer for years. So, how can you tell if you've got one of these valuable dimes? First, check the condition. If the coin looks like it's been in circulation for years and shows signs of wear, it might not fetch the highest price. But if it's in mint condition or near perfect shape, you're definitely in for a treat. And don't forget to look for those mint errors. They can add a significant premium to the coin's value. If you suspect you might have a rare 1945 silver dime, it's always a good idea to have it appraised by a professional coin dealer. They'll be able to tell you whether it's worth a small fortune or just a few bucks based on its condition and other important factors. In conclusion, the 1945 silver dime is not just a piece of U.S. history, but also a potential goldmine for collectors and investors. Whether it's the iconic Mercury dime design, the coin's precious metal content, or the rarity of an uncirculated specimen, this little coin can pack a big punch in terms of value. So, if you have a 1945 silver dime sitting in your collection, or if you come across one in the future, make sure to give it a closer look. It could be worth more than you think. Today, we're diving into a piece of American history that's not only fascinating but could also be worth a small fortune if you know what to look for. We're talking about the 1942 silver dime, one of the most coveted coins from the World War II era. This coin may seem like just another dime from the 1940s, but trust me, there's much more to it than meets the eye. Stick around until the end to find out just how much a rare 1942 silver dime could be worth today. First, let's take a step back and talk a bit about the 1942 silver dime's history. The coin is part of the Mercury dime series, which was first introduced in 1916 and remained in circulation until 1945. The design, which features the winged Liberty head on the obverse, is one of the most iconic in U.S. coinage. While many people mistake the figure for the Roman god Mercury, it actually represents Liberty, with wings on her cap symbolizing freedom of thought. On the reverse side, the dime features a fasces, a symbol of strength and unity, along with an olive branch, representing peace. The 1942 Mercury dime was struck during a pivotal time in American history, right in the middle of World War II. At that point, silver was in high demand for the war effort, so the U.S. Mint continued to produce these dimes in 90% silver. These coins were used extensively for daily transactions and were critical in the circulation of currency during the war years. Because of the high volume of dimes produced and the everyday use they saw, most 1942 silver dimes you come across are heavily worn and don't hold significant value. But here's where it gets really exciting. There is a rare variety of the 1942 silver dime that has made its way to the top of every coin collector's wish list. And it's not just any 1942 dime. We're talking about the 1942 double die variety. This particular coin has a noticeable error in its minting process, where the die that strikes the coin was misaligned. This led to a doubling of the image on the obverse side, specifically around the word Liberty and the date 1942. This error is extremely rare and has made the 1942 double die a highly prized coin in the world of numismatics. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1942 double die so valuable? Well, as with any error coin, rarity is the key. While most 1942 dimes were struck without any issues, the double die variety is far less common. In fact, fewer than 1,000 of these error coins were produced, making them highly sought after by collectors. When you find a 1942 silver dime with a clear double die error in excellent condition, it's no longer just a dime, it's a piece of numismatic treasure. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. As you can imagine, these dimes were heavily circulated, and many have suffered from wear and tear over the years. However, If you're lucky enough to find a 1942 silver dime in uncirculated condition or one with minimal wear, you could be holding onto a coin that is worth a lot more than its face value. The better the condition of the coin, the higher its price can go. In fact, uncirculated 1942 double-die dimes have been known to fetch astronomical prices at auctions, and then, there's the precious metal content. Since the 1942 silver dime is made of 90% silver, its intrinsic value is directly tied to the current market price of silver. Even a common 1942 silver dime, without any minting errors, will have a silver value of around $2 or $3, depending on the price of silver. But when you add in the rarity of the double die error, the value of these coins skyrockets. So, how much could a rare 1942 silver dime with the double die error be worth? If you have one of these precious error coins in good condition, you could be looking at a significant payout. The price for a 1942 double die in excellent condition has been known to reach as high as $59,000. Yes, you heard that right, $59,000 for a single dime. That's an incredible amount for a coin that was once just a small, everyday piece of currency. Now, you might be asking, how do I know if I've got a 1942 double die silver dime? It's actually pretty easy to spot once you know what to look for. The most noticeable feature of the double die error is the doubling of the text, especially the word Liberty and the date 1942. On a regular 1942 dime, the letters and numbers should be clear and sharp, but on the double die variety, you'll see a visible doubling of these elements. The best way to identify a double die coin is to get it under magnification, as this will allow you to clearly see the error. If you happen to have a 1942 silver dime that you suspect might be a double die, it's definitely worth getting it appraised by a professional. A coin dealer or numismatist can examine the coin and confirm whether it's a genuine double die and give you an accurate estimate of its value. Even if your coin isn't a double die but is in pristine condition, it could still fetch a nice sum, especially considering the growing interest in older, high-quality coins. In addition to the double die variety, there are also other 1942 silver dimes with minor minting errors that can increase the value, but the double die is by far the most famous and valuable. And, just like with any collectible, the more you learn about the coin and its features, the better equipped you'll be to identify rare finds and potentially cash in on them. So, to sum it all up, the 1942 silver dime, especially the rare double die variety, is one of the most valuable coins you can find from the World War II era. Whether it's the historical significance, the minting error, or the 90% silver content, this little dime can be worth far more than just 10 cents. If you're lucky enough to find a 1942 silver dime with a double die error, you could be holding onto a coin worth an impressive $59,000. Today, we're going to talk about a coin that might just be hiding in your collection or your spare change jar, the 1977 United States 1-cent coin. At first glance, this may seem like just another penny from the late 70s, but you'd be surprised at how much this humble little coin could be worth. Stick around to the end because I'll reveal how this penny could be worth a staggering amount of money, one you definitely wouldn't expect from a single cent. Let's begin by understanding the significance of the 1977 penny in the broader context of American coinage. The U.S. Mint, like every year, produced billions of pennies in 1977 to meet the everyday needs of the country's cash circulation. The penny's design, as most of you know, features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, which has graced the obverse of the coin since 1909. Designed by Victor D. Brenner, Lincoln's image remains one of the most recognizable features of American currency. On the reverse side, the coin features the familiar Lincoln Memorial, which was designed by Frank Gasparo and has been a staple of the penny's design since 1959. Now, the 1977 penny is by no means rare in terms of mintage. In fact, the U.S. Mint produced a large number of these pennies, so finding one in circulation today is not difficult. However, the true value of a 1977 penny comes not from its sheer number but from its condition and certain rare characteristics that set it apart from the rest. Most 1977 pennies that have been in circulation for decades have suffered from the typical wear and tear. They've been dropped, scratched, and generally used in everyday transactions. As a result, they don't hold much value beyond their face value of 1 cent. However, finding a 1977 penny in excellent condition, or better yet, an uncirculated 1977 penny, can significantly increase its worth. Coins in uncirculated condition are always highly prized by collectors, as they are rare and have been preserved without any significant damage or wear. If you have one of these pristine examples, you may be holding on to something very valuable, but here's where things get really interesting. There's a specific variety of the 1977 penny that's worth considerably more than you might expect. While most of these pennies were struck using the standard processes, there's a rare variety of the 1977 penny that was struck with a noticeable error during the minting process. This error involves a misalignment of the die used to strike the coin, causing a slight doubling of the numbers or letters on the coin. This is known as a doubled die variety, and it's one of the most sought-after and valuable types of coin error among collectors. The 1977 doubled die penny is one of those hidden treasures that collectors are constantly on the lookout for. Because of the way the coin was struck, the doubling can often be seen around the date and the word "Liberty" on the obverse. The doubling is usually subtle, but it's still noticeable under magnification. If you come across a 1977 penny with this error, especially if it's in excellent condition, you could be looking at a highly valuable coin. So, why do these error coins command such high prices? The value lies in their rarity and uniqueness. Mint errors like double dies are far less common than regular coins, and collectors pay a premium for them. These kinds of errors happen when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the minting process, causing the design to appear twice or in a distorted fashion. This makes the coin not only a collector's item but also a piece of history, something that stands out from the mass-produced coins of its time. Now, you might be wondering, just how much is a 1977 doubled die penny worth? Well, it all depends on a few key factors: the coin's condition, the clarity of the error, and whether the coin has been professionally graded. If the 1977 penny has been kept in uncirculated condition, has a clear and visible double die error, and is graded highly by professionals, its value can be astronomical. Coins in pristine condition, with the error clearly visible, have been known to fetch some serious money at auction. In fact, depending on its condition and the presence of the doubled die, a 1977 penny with this error could be worth up to $56,000. Yes, you heard that right, $56,000. That's the kind of value a single coin can carry if it's rare, well-preserved, and has the right kind of error. So, how do you know if you have one of these valuable 1977 doubled die pennies? The easiest way to check is by looking closely at the date and the word "Liberty" on the obverse side of the coin. Under magnification, you should be able to see the subtle doubling in these areas if the coin is a genuine doubled die. Make sure to inspect the coin carefully and compare it to photos of verified double die errors online or in a coin guide. If you believe you have one, it's a great idea to take it to a professional coin dealer or a grading service to have it authenticated and appraised. Even if your 1977 penny doesn't show the double die error, it could still be worth more than its face value if it's in uncirculated or near mint condition. Coins that have been carefully preserved over the years can command a higher price due to their rarity and pristine condition. So, before you toss that penny into a jar or spend it at the store, take a moment to check its condition. You might just have a small treasure on your hands. In conclusion, the 1977 US 1-cent coin may seem like just another penny from the past, but in the world of coin collecting, it's a piece of hidden history. The key to unlocking its value lies in its condition and any rare minting errors it might contain, like the coveted double die. If you're lucky enough to find a 1977 penny with a clear double die and it's in great shape, you could be holding a coin worth $56,000. Today, we're diving into the world of a seemingly ordinary coin, the 1981 United States 1-cent piece. You may think that this penny, minted over 40 years ago, is just another piece of copper-clad zinc currency from the early 80s. But don't be fooled. This penny could be hiding a secret that's worth far more than its face value. Stick with me until the end of the video, because you're about to find out how a 1981 penny could potentially be worth an astonishing amount of money. Let's start by understanding the basics. The 1981 penny was part of a series of US 1-cent coins that were minted with a familiar design. The obverse features the image of Abraham Lincoln, as it has since 1909, with the iconic words, "In God We Trust," surrounding his profile. The reverse side of the coin showcases the Lincoln Memorial, which has been a symbol of the US penny since 1959. On the surface, there's nothing particularly rare or exceptional about this design. It's a coin that served its purpose in everyday transactions and was widely circulated for decades. However, while most 1981 pennies are commonly found in circulation and don't carry much additional value beyond their 1-cent face value, there are a few that stand out for their uniqueness and rarity. Like any coin series, it's not just about the year a coin was minted, it's about the condition, any errors in the minting process, and sometimes, the specific variety of the coin. The 1981 penny, for example, has a certain variant that has caught the attention of serious collectors. This coin features a particularly rare minting error that has increased its value significantly. We're talking about the 1981 small date versus the large date variety, an issue that's often overlooked by casual collectors but is crucial when determining the worth of a specific coin. In 1981, the US Mint struck two different varieties of the penny, the small date and the large date. The difference between these two is subtle, but it's there. The small date version features numerals in the date that are smaller and closer together, while the large date version has numerals that are larger and spaced farther apart. The small date is much rarer than the large date variety, and because of its rarity, it has become highly sought after by collectors. While the large date coins are relatively easy to find, the small date version is harder to come by, especially in good condition. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. A small number of the 1981 small date pennies were struck with a special error. These coins feature a double die, meaning that during the minting process, the die was misaligned and the design was struck twice. This doubling is most noticeable in the lettering and numbers, which become blurry or distorted. Coins with this error are incredibly valuable to collectors because of how rare they are. Double die error coins have always been highly prized because they are unique and often represent mistakes in the production process that were only discovered years later. If you happen to find a 1981 penny with a clear small date and a noticeable double die error, then you're looking at a coin that could be worth significantly more than just 1 cent. A coin like this could potentially fetch a staggering price at auction, depending on its condition and the clarity of the error. Another reason the 1981 penny has garnered attention from coin enthusiasts is the increasing interest in coins from the early 1980s. Many of these coins are starting to disappear from circulation, and as they become harder to find, their value is only going up. Pennies like the 1981 small date with errors are particularly attractive to collectors who specialize in error coins or those who focus on acquiring coins from specific years and mintage varieties. As more people start to realize the potential value of these coins, the demand for them continues to rise. So, what exactly makes the 1981 small date penny with a double die error so valuable? In addition to its rarity and condition, it's also important to consider the fact that coins from the early 80s are now considered somewhat of a historical snapshot. The early 1980s were a transitional time for US currency, as the mint was shifting from using mostly copper to using a copper-plated zinc composition in pennies. The 1981 penny was one of the last coins to be struck using mostly copper before this major change occurred. This adds a layer of historical significance to the coin, making it even more appealing to collectors. If you're fortunate enough to have one of these 1981 pennies with the small date and a noticeable double die error, you're in for a real treat. A coin like this could be worth up to $47,000, a number that might blow your mind when you think about the fact that it started life as a mere penny. The key factors that contribute to this value are its rarity, the error on the coin, and the demand for such unique pieces in the collecting world. Now, before you start rummaging through your change jar or old coin collections, let's go over how to identify if you found a valuable 1981 small date penny with a double die error. First, examine the date carefully. If you have a small date, the numbers in the year will be smaller and more compact compared to the larger, more spaced out digits of the large date variety. Next, take a close look at the lettering and numbers on the coin, especially the word Liberty and the date. If you notice any doubling or distortion, it's worth investigating further. Using a magnifying glass or a loupe can help you spot these subtle details. If you believe you found a 1981 penny with a double die error, it's a good idea to have it professionally graded by a coin expert or sent to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Professional grading will give you a more accurate assessment of the coin's condition, which is crucial in determining its value. A coin that's been graded as mint state or near mint state will have a much higher value than one that's been heavily worn or damaged. In conclusion, the 1981 US 1-cent coin may seem like just another run-of-the-mill penny, but if you've got the right variety or a rare error, it could be worth much more than you think. Whether it's the elusive small date variety, the double die error, or just a coin in pristine condition, this penny can be worth a significant amount to the right collector. If you've got one of these gems, you could be sitting on a coin worth $47,000. Today, we have a special treat for you as we explore a coin from the mid-1960s that might just be hiding in your pocket change or tucked away in your collection. It's the 1965 United States dime, a coin that may seem like a typical piece of currency, but could actually be worth a lot more than you think. Stick around until the end because we'll reveal exactly how much a rare 1965 dime could be worth today, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. First, let's take a look at the basics of the 1965 dime. This particular coin was minted during a period of transition for U.S. currency. The U.S. Mint had just stopped using silver for the composition of dimes, quarters, and half dollars, and began producing these coins in a copper-nickel-clad composition. For decades, the dime had been made of 90% silver, but due to rising silver prices and the economic pressures of the time, 1965 marked the last year the U.S. Mint struck dimes using silver in their composition. Instead, they began using a copper-nickel mix, which was less expensive and still durable enough for circulation. On the obverse of the 1965 dime, you'll find the famous portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. This design, created by John R. Sinek, has been featured on the dime since 1946. Roosevelt is shown facing left, and beneath the portrait, you'll find the inscription Liberty, along with the year of minting. The reverse of the coin features a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, which represent unity and peace, respectively. Above the torch, the words E pluribus unum are inscribed, while United States of America is also prominently featured, along with one dime. Now, if you've ever wondered why a 1965 dime might be worth more than its face value of just 10 cents, the answer lies in a rare and unique minting error that has made this coin highly sought after by collectors. You see, while the vast majority of 1965 dimes were struck with the standard copper-nickel composition, there are a few extremely rare dimes from this year that were accidentally struck with a high silver content. These silver dimes were produced when a few silver blanks, meant for other coins like quarters and half dollars, were mixed in with the regular copper-nickel blanks. This led to a small number of dimes being struck with the wrong type of metal. As you can imagine, finding a 1965 dime with the silver composition is incredibly rare, and it's this rare variation that drives up the coin's value. These dimes, often referred to as silver error dimes, are some of the most highly sought-after coins by collectors. Unlike the vast majority of 1965 dimes, which are composed of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, these silver error dimes are composed of around 90% silver, just like the pre-1965 dimes. That small difference in composition is what makes them so valuable. So, how do you tell if your 1965 dime is a silver error coin? There are a couple of methods you can use to confirm whether the coin is made of silver or the regular copper-nickel alloy. The most obvious way is through a magnet test. Silver is not magnetic, so if your dime is attracted to a magnet, it's definitely not the rare silver version. But if the dime isn't magnetic, you can then weigh the coin to check its metal content. A regular 1965 dime made of copper nickel weighs about 2.27 grams, while a silver 1965 dime will weigh slightly more, around 2.50 grams. You can also take the coin to a local coin dealer or get it professionally graded and authenticated to confirm whether it's one of the rare silver era dimes. Now that we've covered how to identify these rare dimes, you're probably wondering how much they're worth. Given the rarity of the silver era dimes, their value can be significant. In fact, a well-preserved 1965 silver era dime can fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. The price depends on factors such as the coin's condition and the clarity of the era, but these coins are in high demand among collectors, and the value can climb quickly. The most valuable of these era coins are those that have been graded as MS, mint state, 65 or higher. These coins are in near-perfect condition and have little to no visible wear. A coin with such a high grade can command top dollar, and we're talking about prices that can go as high as $57,000, yes, you read that correctly, $57,000 for a single 1965 silver era dime. While the vast majority of 1965 dimes are worth just a few cents above face value, the rare silver versions can be worth a small fortune to the right buyer. So, if you happen to find one of these silver era dimes, it could be your ticket to a significant payday. It's important to note that not every 1965 dime will be worth this much. The key factors that influence the coin's value are its rarity, condition, and the presence of the silver content. Most 1965 dimes, even if they have the silver composition, will only be worth a few $100s, especially if they're in worn or damaged condition. However, if you happen to find one that is in excellent shape and has been well preserved, you could be looking at a truly valuable coin. In addition to the silver era dimes, there are other types of variations and minting errors that can add value to a 1965 dime. For example, some 1965 dimes have been found with other minor errors, such as misstrikes, off-center strikes, or double die errors. While these errors may not add quite as much value as the silver error, they can still be worth a considerable amount depending on the rarity and the condition of the coin. So, what should you do if you find a 1965 dime that you suspect could be a silver era coin? First, make sure you verify that it is indeed made of silver using the methods I mentioned earlier. Once you've confirmed that the coin is a rare silver version, it's a good idea to have it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Grading a coin helps determine its condition and authenticity, which can significantly increase its value. A coin that has been graded as MS65 or higher will almost always fetch a higher price at auction, and it's much easier to sell a graded coin to a serious collector. In conclusion, the 1965 US dime may seem like a typical coin at first glance, but when you factor in the rare silver era variety, it becomes something much more valuable. The key to finding out whether your 1965 dime is worth a small fortune lies in identifying the silver era and getting the coin professionally evaluated. If you have one of these rare coins in excellent condition, you could be sitting on a valuable treasure worth $57,000. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into a coin that you might not think twice about, but could actually be worth a lot more than you might imagine. Yes, we're talking about the 1977 United States dime. It's easy to overlook these coins, considering they're just dimes, and they've been circulating for decades. But, there's something special about the 1977 dime that you'll want to hear about. Stick around until the end because we'll reveal how much a rare 1977 dime could actually be worth in today's market, and it might just blow your mind. Let's start by getting familiar with the 1977 dime. At first glance, this coin might seem like any other dime you've encountered. The obverse of the coin features the iconic portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, which has been on the dime since 1946. This well-known image of Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek, represents the 32nd President of the United States, who is revered for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. Beneath Roosevelt's portrait, you'll find the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," while the year of minting, 1977, is inscribed right below his profile. The reverse side of the 1977 dime features a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, which represent the American ideals of unity, peace, and strength. This reverse design, which was also created by Cynic, has been a staple on dimes since 1946. It's a simple but powerful design that encapsulates the values of the United States. Now, the 1977 dime is relatively common in terms of mintage. In fact, millions of these dimes were produced by the U.S. Mint to meet the needs of everyday transactions. So, when you look at a 1977 dime, you're probably thinking, well, it's just another coin. And for the most part, you'd be right, unless, of course, you happen to find a rare version with some unique characteristics. So what makes the 1977 dime worth so much? While most of the 1977 dimes are worth their face value of 10 cents, there are some variations and errors that can significantly increase the value of these coins. One of the key factors that makes a 1977 dime valuable is its condition. If you find a 1977 dime in mint condition, meaning it has been well preserved and has no visible wear or damage, it can fetch a much higher price than a coin that's been circulating for decades. But that's not all. The 1977 dime has some special minting errors that have turned it into a highly sought-after collector's item. One of the most common and valuable errors on the 1977 dime is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin has been misaligned or improperly set, causing the image to be struck more than once. This can result in the appearance of doubling on certain features of the coin, such as the date, the words "Liberty," or even the design elements on the reverse. The doubling can be subtle or quite noticeable, depending on the severity of the error. In some cases, you'll see a slight shadowing or ghosting effect around the date or lettering. In others, the doubling might be more pronounced, making it easier to spot. If you find a 1977 dime with a clear double die error, especially one that is in excellent condition, you could be holding a coin that is worth much more than just its face value. Collectors love error coins because they're unique and hard to find. A double die error makes a coin stand out from the thousands of other identical coins produced in the same year. These types of minting errors are part of what makes coin collecting so exciting. Coins with these rare characteristics can be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. Aside from the double die error, another feature that could increase the value of a 1977 dime is its overall rarity. While millions of these coins were minted, only a small number of them are in pristine condition. Coins that have been kept in perfect shape, free from scratches, discoloration, or other damage, are much more valuable to collectors than coins that have been worn down by years of circulation. So, if you happen to have a 1977 dime that looks almost brand new, it could be worth far more than just 10 cents. Now, let's talk about the big reveal. So, just how much could a 1977 dime be worth? Well, if you happen to have a 1977 dime with a clear double die error in pristine condition, or if you have one that's graded as being in mint state, MS65 or higher, it could be worth $54,000. That's right, $54,000 for a single dime. While this is certainly an exceptional case, it's a reminder of just how much rare coins can appreciate in value, especially when they have something unique about them. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1977 dime with a double die error, and it's in excellent condition, you could be holding a coin that's worth far more than you imagined when you first picked it up. So, how do you go about checking whether your 1977 dime could be one of these rare error coins? First, take a close look at the date and the word "Liberty" on the obverse. Look for any signs of doubling or distortion in the lettering. You might also want to inspect the design on the reverse side of the coin, especially around the branches and the torch. If you notice any unusual doubling or blurring, that could be a sign of a double die error. If you suspect that your 1977 dime might be an error coin, it's a good idea to have it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Professional grading will help determine the condition of the coin, which is critical when assessing its value. Coins that are in mint state with no visible signs of wear are always worth more, so getting a coin professionally graded can help you get a more accurate estimate of its value. In addition to the double die error, there are other types of minting issues or variants that can add value to a 1977 dime. For example, some dimes may have been struck off-center or with other subtle errors. While these errors may not be as dramatic as the double die variety, they can still increase the coin's worth, especially if the error is rare or if the coin is in excellent condition. In conclusion, the 1977 US dime might seem like just another coin from the past, but if you know what to look for, it could be worth a significant amount of money. Whether it's the rare double die error or simply a coin in pristine condition, the 1977 dime is a reminder of how valuable seemingly ordinary coins can be when they have something special about them. If you happen to find a 1977 dime with these unique characteristics, you could be holding a coin worth $54,000. Today, we've got a really exciting topic for you, a seemingly ordinary coin that could actually be worth a small fortune. If you have a 1978 United States 5-cent piece lying around, you might want to stop and take a closer look. This humble nickel, which has been in circulation for decades, may be hiding a secret that could turn it into a major find. Stick around because, by the end of this video, you'll find out exactly how much a rare 1978 nickel could be worth today, and trust me, it's more than you'd expect. Let's start with the basics. The 1978 5-cent coin, or nickel, is part of the Jefferson nickel series that has been in circulation since 1938. The coin features the iconic portrait of President Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag, on the obverse. This image of Jefferson has remained on the nickel for decades and continues to represent one of the founding fathers of the United States. On the reverse side, you'll see Monticello, Jefferson's home in Virginia, which has graced the nickel since 1938 as well. The Monticello design is a beautiful representation of Jefferson's legacy and his role in shaping the nation. Now, you might be wondering, what could be so special about a 1978 nickel? After all, millions of these coins were minted that year and circulated widely. Most 1978 nickels are pretty much worth their face value, just 5 cents. So why are we talking about this particular coin in such high regard? The key to this coin's potential value lies in some very specific and rare minting errors that can turn an ordinary 1978 nickel into a highly sought-after treasure. Like any coin series, there are certain variations and mistakes that can increase the rarity and desirability of certain coins. And when it comes to the 1978 nickel, there are a few errors that collectors are especially on the lookout for. One of the most notable and valuable errors associated with the 1978 nickel is the double die error. A double die occurs when the die that strikes the coin has a misalignment or is not properly set during the minting process. As a result, the design on the coin gets struck multiple times, causing the features to appear doubled. In the case of the 1978 nickel, this error might show up as doubling in the word Liberty, in the date, or even in the details of Jefferson's portrait. The doubling can be subtle, so it's important to carefully examine the coin, especially around the lettering and date. If you're lucky enough to find a 1978 nickel with a noticeable doubled die error, it could significantly increase its value. Collectors love these error coins because they're unique, and they're often quite rare. The more dramatic the doubling, the more valuable the coin can be. So, if you've got a 1978 nickel and you notice any kind of doubling or distortion in the design, you might want to get it checked out. It could be worth a lot more than you think, but that's not the only error that can make a 1978 nickel valuable. There are also examples of off-center strikes, which occur when the blank coin is not properly aligned with the die during the minting process. This causes part of the coin's design to be missing or shifted, creating an unusual and visually striking effect. Off-center nickels can range in rarity, with the more extreme examples being worth much more. An off-center 1978 nickel with a significant portion of the design missing could appeal to collectors who specialize in this type of error coin. Another error that can add value to a 1978 nickel is the misstrike, where the coin's design is struck at an angle or with an incorrect pressure. This can lead to design elements being distorted, giving the coin a very unique look. Some misstrikes are more noticeable than others, but even a small misstrike can increase the coin's desirability among collectors. So, now that we've covered the types of errors that can make a 1978 nickel valuable, let's talk about the condition of the coin. As with most collectible coins, the value of a 1978 nickel is heavily influenced by its condition. If the coin is in mint state, with little to no wear or damage, it will be worth much more than a coin that has been worn down by years of circulation. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. Coins that are graded as MS65 or higher by professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC can fetch a significantly higher price at auction, but even if your 1978 nickel is not in perfect condition, don't rule it out just yet. Coins with rare errors, even if they show signs of wear, can still be valuable to collectors. The key is identifying whether your coin has one of the aforementioned errors and then having it professionally graded to determine its value. So, how much could a rare 1978 nickel be worth? Well, the value can vary greatly depending on the type of error, the condition of the coin, and the demand among collectors. However, a 1978 nickel with a prominent double die error or another rare minting flaw could be worth a surprising amount of money. If you're lucky enough to find a 1978 nickel with a well-defined error, and it's in good condition, it could be worth $56,000, yes, you heard that right, $56,000 for a single 1978 nickel. Of course, this is for a very rare and well-preserved error coin, but it goes to show that even a seemingly ordinary coin from the 1970s can hold significant value if it has the right characteristics. If you think you found a rare 1978 nickel with an error, there are a few steps you should take. First, carefully inspect the coin for any signs of doubling, misstrikes, or off-center issues. If you see anything unusual, take a closer look with a magnifying glass or loupe to get a better view of the details. Once you've identified the potential error, it's a good idea to have the coin professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service. Grading the coin will give you an accurate idea of its condition and market value. If your coin is graded as MS65 or higher, and it's confirmed to have one of the rare errors we've discussed, you could be sitting on a rare and valuable treasure. These error coins are in high demand, and collectors are always looking for unique pieces to add to their collections. In conclusion, while the 1978 United States 5-cent coin may seem like just another everyday nickel, it could actually be hiding a rare error that's worth far more than its face value. Whether it's a double die error, an off-center strike, or another type of misstrike, there are certain 1978 nickels that can command impressive prices in the collector's market. If you happen to find a 1978 nickel with these rare characteristics, it could be worth as much as $56,000. Today, we're about to take a look at a coin that you might come across at any time, a 1974 United States 5-cent piece, also known as a nickel. But hold on a second. Don't dismiss this as just another nickel you'd find in your pocket. Believe it or not, this seemingly ordinary coin could be hiding a secret that's worth thousands of dollars. Yes, we're talking about a rare 1974 nickel that could be worth far more than its 5-cent face value. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be amazed at how much a 1974 nickel could really be worth. Let's start by taking a look at the basic design of the 1974 nickel. Like other nickels, the 1974 version features a portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side of the coin. Designed by Felix Schlag, this classic image of Jefferson has adorned the nickel since 1938. You'll also see the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" on the obverse, along with the year of minting, 1974, just below Jefferson's profile. On the reverse side of the coin, we have the iconic image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic plantation home in Virginia. This design has been part of the nickel since 1938 as well. It's a symbol of Jefferson's legacy and a nod to his significant role in shaping American history. Above Monticello, you'll see the words E pluribus unum and the denomination 5 cents. At first glance, this 1974 nickel looks just like any other. So why are we talking about its potential to be worth thousands of dollars? Well, as with many coins, there's a chance that some 1974 nickels were minted with errors or characteristics that make them especially rare and valuable. Collectors and investors are constantly on the lookout for these unusual and rare versions, which can drive up the price of a coin significantly. One of the most significant factors that can add value to a 1974 nickel is its condition. Coins that are in excellent, uncirculated condition are much more valuable than coins that have been heavily circulated. Over time, coins that are used in daily transactions will experience wear and tear, causing them to lose some of their original features. However, a 1974 nickel that has been carefully preserved and has little to no signs of wear can be worth far more than just 5 cents, but condition alone isn't the only thing that can make a 1974 nickel valuable. There are also some rare minting errors that can increase the value of these coins dramatically. One of the most sought-after errors for the 1974 nickel is the double die error. A double die occurs when the coin's die is misaligned or improperly struck, resulting in a design that appears to be doubled. This can happen with the date, the lettering, or even parts of the imagery on the coin. In the case of the 1974 nickel, a double die error might be visible in the date, meaning the 1974 could appear twice on the coin, with a noticeable shadowing effect around the numbers. You might also notice doubling on the word Liberty or even in the details of Jefferson's portrait. The more obvious the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the doubling is clear and well defined. A 1974 nickel with a strong double die error is a collector's dream, and it can fetch a much higher price at auction than a standard 1974 nickel. In addition to the double die error, there are other types of minting issues that can make a 1974 nickel more valuable. For example, some nickels may have been struck off-center during the minting process. This occurs when the coin blank is not aligned properly with the die, causing the design to be misaligned. An off-center strike creates a coin with part of the design missing or shifted to one side, giving it a unique appearance. The more extreme the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin can be. Even a small misalignment can make a 1974 nickel worth a lot more than its face value. Another potential error that could add value to a 1974 nickel is a clipped planchet. This happens when the coin's metal blank is incorrectly cut during production, resulting in a coin with a jagged or missing edge. A clipped planchet error can make the coin look quite unusual, and collectors who specialize in error coins are always on the lookout for these unique pieces. If you have a 1974 nickel with a clipped planchet, it could be worth more than you think. So, how much could a 1974 nickel be worth? Well, as with any rare coin, the value can vary greatly depending on the type of error, the coin's condition, and the demand among collectors. While most 1974 nickels are worth only 5 cents, certain error coins can command impressive prices at auction. If you happen to find a 1974 nickel with a noticeable double die error, an off-center strike, or a clipped planchet, and it's in excellent condition, you could be sitting on a rare treasure. In fact, a 1974 nickel with a clear double die error or another significant minting flaw, especially in uncirculated condition, could be worth as much as $58,000. Yes, you heard that right, $58,000 for a single 1974 nickel. Of course, this is for a particularly rare and well-preserved example, but it just goes to show how valuable error coins can be. These coins are highly prized by collectors, and if you happen to find one, you could be looking at a serious windfall. If you think you have a rare 1974 nickel, here's what you should do. First, carefully examine the coin for any signs of errors, especially around the date and lettering. Look for doubling, misalignment, or unusual characteristics like off-center strikes or clipped planchets. If you see something that doesn't look quite right, take a closer look with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to see if you can spot any doubling or other minting flaws. Once you've identified the potential error, the next step is to have the coin professionally graded. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can assess the coin's condition and determine whether it's a rare error coin. A professional grade can also help you get a more accurate idea of the coin's market value, which can be crucial if you plan to sell it or add it to your collection. In conclusion, the 1974 United States 5-cent coin might seem like just another nickel, but it's actually a potential goldmine for collectors. Whether it's a double die error, an off-center strike, or a clipped planchet, a rare 1974 nickel could be worth far more than you ever expected. If you happen to come across a 1974 nickel with one of these errors, and it's in good condition, you could be holding a coin worth as much as $58,000. Today, we have something truly exciting for all you collectors out there, especially those who are into rare US coins. We're diving into the world of the 1981 United States quarter dollar, a coin you might have seen many times before but probably didn't know it could be worth a small fortune. Yes, this quarter, which is often passed around without a second thought, could actually be hiding something that makes it worth thousands of dollars. Stick with us as we explore what makes the 1981 quarter dollar so valuable and how you might just have one of these rare coins in your collection or pocket. First off, let's start with the basics. The 1981 quarter dollar is part of the iconic Washington quarter series, which has been in circulation since 1932. The design on the obverse of the coin features none other than George Washington, the first President of the United States. This design, created by John Flanagan, has been a constant feature on the quarter for nearly a century. You'll see Washington's profile along with the words, "Liberty," and, "In God We Trust," above, while the year of minting, 1981, is displayed just below Washington's bust. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find the familiar image of an eagle perched with its wings spread, a symbol of American strength and pride. Above the eagle, you'll find the words, "United States of America," while the denomination, quarter dollar, appears below. The reverse design, although classic, has been in use since the coin was first introduced in 1932, and it continues to be one of the most recognizable symbols in U.S. numismatics. Now, you may be wondering, what makes a 1981 quarter dollar stand out in the world of coin collecting? Well, let's take a closer look at some of the factors that can make this coin worth much more than just 25 cents. The key here is that not all 1981 quarters are created equal. While most of them are just typical circulation coins, there are certain rare versions that can command incredibly high prices, and we're talking about a serious premium. One of the main things collectors look for when determining the value of a coin is mint errors. Mint errors are exactly what they sound like, mistakes that happen during the minting process, which make a coin different from the others produced. These errors can range from minor to major, but when they're particularly noticeable or rare, they can increase the coin's value dramatically. For the 1981 quarter, there are a few types of minting errors that collectors would be thrilled to find. One of the most valuable errors you can find is the double die error. This happens when the coin's die, which is used to strike the image onto the coin, is misaligned during the minting process. This results in a coin where the design appears doubled, and the details, like the date or lettering, are more pronounced than they should be. In the case of the 1981 quarter, you might see doubling on the "Liberty" text, or even the date, 1981. If you come across a 1981 quarter with a visible double die error, it's definitely worth more than just face value. Another type of error that can make a 1981 quarter valuable is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin's blank is not properly aligned with the die, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted to the side. An off-center strike creates a coin that has a distorted look, with part of the design cut off or misaligned. These errors are visually interesting, and the more extreme the off-center shift, the more valuable the coin can become. A 1981 quarter with a major off-center strike can be a real find for a collector, and it can command a premium price in the market. Another error that's rare but valuable in the 1981 quarter series is a clashed die error. A die clash happens when the two dies used to strike the coin collide with each other during the minting process, leaving an imprint of one die on the other. This results in a coin that has ghostly images or impressions from the die that are not part of the intended design. Clashed die errors are highly sought after by collectors because they are unique and visually striking. If you're lucky enough to find a 1981 quarter with a clashed die error, you could be holding a very valuable piece of numismatic history.So. What can you expect to get for a 1981 quarter dollar that has one of these rare minting errors? Well, depending on the type and severity of the error, as well as the condition of the coin, the value can vary greatly. Most 1981 quarters are worth only their face value of 25 cents, but error coins can be worth much more. For example, a 1981 quarter with a noticeable double die or off-center strike can easily be worth hundreds, or even thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and rarity. But here's the real kicker: if you happen to find a 1981 quarter with a particularly rare and well-preserved error, such as a strong double die or a major off-center strike, you could be looking at a coin worth $51,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $51,000. That's right. A single 1981 quarter could fetch this impressive sum at auction, especially if it's in near-perfect condition and has a significant minting error. While finding such a rare coin is certainly a stroke of luck, it just goes to show how much value can be hidden in something as simple as a quarter.So. If you're out there hunting for rare coins, make sure to keep an eye out for 1981 quarters, especially those that seem a little off or unusual. If you happen to spot a doubling effect in the date or lettering, or if the coin has a misaligned design, you could be holding onto a treasure. And even if you don't find a rare error coin, it's always a good idea to check the condition of your coins. A well-preserved 1981 quarter in excellent condition can also carry some extra value, even without a mint error.To wrap up. The 1981 quarter dollar may seem like just another coin you'd find in circulation, but it's actually a potential goldmine for collectors. With the right minting error, a 1981 quarter can be worth a lot more than just 25 cents. If you come across one with a double die, off-center strike, or clashed die error, you could be holding a coin worth as much as $51,000. Today's video is going to be right up your alley. We're going to explore the value of a US quarter dollar from 1971, yes, you heard that right. A quarter. A coin that you might have come across in your pocket without giving it a second glance could actually be worth a small fortune. That's because the 1971 quarter, though seemingly ordinary, has some unique characteristics that can make it incredibly valuable to collectors. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just want to go digging through your coin collection. First, let's start with the basics. The 1971 quarter dollar is part of the Washington Quarter series, which has been in circulation since 1932. This particular design features the iconic image of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The portrait was designed by artist John Flanagan and has been a fixture on the quarter since its introduction, making it one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history. On the reverse side of the 1971 quarter, you'll find the image of an eagle, with its wings spread wide, perched above the words, United States of America, and the denomination, quarter dollar. The reverse design has been in use since 1932, and though it has been modified over the years, it remains a symbol of strength and freedom. The 1971 quarter is a reminder of the classic designs that have defined American coinage for nearly a century. But here's where it gets interesting. While most 1971 quarters are just your standard coin worth 25 cents, there are certain versions of the quarter that could be worth far more, like thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. You might be wondering, what makes the 1971 quarter worth so much? The answer lies in mint errors. You see, coins that were struck with errors during the minting process can become highly valuable, as they are much rarer than the regular, error-free coins that are mass-produced. One of the most valuable errors for the 1971 quarter is the double die error. A double die happens when the coin's die, which is the metal stamp used to strike the design onto the coin, shifts or is improperly aligned. This results in the design being printed more than once, often causing the image or the text on the coin to appear doubled. The most common places you might see doubling on a 1971 quarter are the date and the word Liberty or In God We Trust. If you have a 1971 quarter with noticeable doubling in these areas, you could be sitting on a rare gem. Double die errors are highly sought after by collectors because they are unique and visually striking. These errors can be quite subtle or very pronounced, but the more noticeable the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes. A well-defined double die error on a 1971 quarter can make that coin worth a lot more than just 25 cents. In fact, such error coins can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. In addition to double die errors, there are other types of minting errors that can make a 1971 quarter valuable. For example, some 1971 quarters were struck with a clipped planchet. A clipped planchet occurs when the metal used to create the coin isn't properly aligned with the die, leading to a coin with a missing or uneven edge. This creates a visually interesting effect, with part of the coin's design being cut off or having a jagged edge. Clipped planchets are rare and collectible, especially if they are noticeable and well-defined. Another minting error to look for is an off-center strike. An off-center strike happens when the metal blank used to make the coin isn't properly aligned during the minting process, resulting in a coin with part of the design missing or shifted to one side. The more extreme the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin can be. If you find a 1971 quarter with a dramatic off-center strike, it could be worth much more than face value. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. Even if you don't find a rare mint error on your 1971 quarter, the condition of the coin can still significantly impact its value. Coins that have been well preserved and show little to no signs of wear and tear are more valuable than those that have been heavily circulated. Collectors always want to find coins that are in the best possible condition, as these coins are rarer and more desirable. If you happen to have a 1971 quarter that looks almost brand new, it could be worth more than just the usual 25 cents. So, how much can a rare 1971 quarter be worth? Well, if you have a 1971 quarter with a significant mint error like a double die, an off-center strike, or a clipped planchet, you could be looking at a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But that's not all. A particularly rare and well-preserved 1971 quarter, especially one with a strong and obvious mint error, could be worth an incredible amount of money. In fact, a 1971 quarter with a prominent double die error, or another rare minting flaw, could be valued at $55,000, yes, you heard that right, $55,000 for a single 1971 quarter. Imagine finding one of these rare error coins in your pocket change or among your old coins. That's a serious windfall. Now, if you think you have a rare 1971 quarter on your hands, here's what you should do next. First, take a closer look at the coin. Check the date, the lettering, and the design for any signs of doubling or misalignment. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to examine the details closely. Look for any subtle or obvious errors like doubled text or off-center strikes. If you notice something unusual, it's time to investigate further. Once you've identified a possible error, it's a good idea to have the coin professionally graded by a reputable grading service. Organizations like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, can assess the condition of your coin and determine its authenticity. Getting your coin professionally graded will not only give you a clearer idea of its value, but it can also make it easier to sell or auction the coin if you choose to do so. To wrap up, the 1971 US quarter dollar might seem like just another coin you could find in your pocket or in a jar of loose change, but it has the potential to be worth a lot more than its face value. If you come across a 1971 quarter with a minting error like a double die or an off-center strike, or if it's in excellent condition, you could be holding a coin worth as much as $55,000. Today we're about to dive into a coin that has captured the hearts of collectors for decades, the iconic 1934 Buffalo 5-cent coin. If you're new to coin collecting, or if you've been at it for years, this coin is one that you'll definitely want to know more about. What makes the 1934 Buffalo nickel so special? Well, there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye. Not only is it a beautiful piece of American history, but it could also be worth a small fortune if you have the right version of it. Before we get into the value of the 1934 Buffalo nickel, let's take a look at its history and design. The Buffalo nickel was introduced in 1913 and was in circulation until 1938. It was designed by the famous sculptor James Earl Fraser, who was inspired by both Native American and Western themes. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll find a profile of a Native American chief. The design was meant to honor the indigenous people of America, with the chief's face based on a combination of 3 different Native American leaders. The design was bold, and it had a certain dignity and strength that many felt was a fitting tribute. On the reverse side, the coin features the image of a buffalo, which is often believed to represent the American bison, a symbol of strength and endurance. The buffalo stands proudly, with the word "Liberty" in the upper left corner and the year of minting, 1934, just below. In addition to the buffalo, the reverse design also includes the words "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum," the nation's motto. The Buffalo nickel became a favorite among coin collectors due to its stunning and unique design, but it wasn't long before it started to face some issues in circulation. The intricate details of the coin made it difficult to produce consistently, and over time, the design began to wear down quickly. As a result, the coin became less readable, and in 1938, it was replaced by the Jefferson nickel, which we still use today. Now, let's talk about why the 1934 Buffalo nickel is particularly interesting and valuable. You may think that all Buffalo nickels are worth a lot of money, but the truth is, it's the rarities and certain conditions that really make these coins worth a significant amount. While most of the 1934 Buffalo nickels are fairly easy to find and don't carry much more value than their face value, there are some exceptions. For collectors, the condition of the coin plays a massive role in determining its worth. The 1934 Buffalo nickel is a good example of this. As we know, the design of the coin was intricate, with fine details like the buffalo's horns and the Native American's feathers. Over time, many of these coins became worn down as they passed through circulation, meaning that a lot of them are now in poor condition. Coins that are well preserved or show minimal wear are much more valuable than those that are heavily scratched, worn, or tarnished. In fact, a 1934 Buffalo nickel in near mint or uncirculated condition can be worth far more than you might think. But what really makes the 1934 Buffalo nickel stand out are the coins that have a mint error. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin's production process. These errors are rare and can make a coin far more valuable. For example, some 1934 Buffalo nickels were struck on incorrect planchets, the metal blanks used to mint the coins, or were misaligned during the minting process. These errors can make the coin unique and collectible, which drives up its value among collectors. Some of these error coins, especially if they're in good condition, can command high prices at auction. One of the most sought-after variations of the 1934 Buffalo nickel is the 1934 D Buffalo nickel. The 1934 D, which was minted at the Denver Mint, is more difficult to find in high-grade condition compared to other years of the Buffalo nickel. As a result, it's a key date for collectors. In fact, a well-preserved 1934 D Buffalo nickel can be worth thousands of dollars. However, if you're lucky enough to find a 1934 Buffalo nickel with a rare mint error or a high-grade version, it could fetch an even higher price. But that's not all. The 1934 proof version of the Buffalo nickel is another prized coin among collectors. Proof coins were specially made for collectors and were struck with a higher level of precision and care compared to regular circulation coins. These coins were usually minted in smaller quantities, which makes them more valuable over time. A 1934 Buffalo proof nickel in top condition is an absolute gem for any serious coin collector and can easily fetch a premium price. So, how much could a 1934 Buffalo nickel really be worth? Well, if you have a 1934 Buffalo nickel in uncirculated or proof condition, or one with a rare mint error, the value can be incredibly high. Some of these coins have sold for thousands of dollars at auctions. But hold on, if you're fortunate enough to have a 1934 Buffalo nickel that's in exceptional condition, and it's one of the rare mint error types or a high-grade 1934D, you could be looking at a coin that could sell for as much as $75,000. Yes, you heard that right, $75,000 for a single 1934 Buffalo nickel. That's right, a coin that many people overlook could actually be worth a life-changing amount of money if you have the right version in the right condition. If you're wondering whether you might have one of these rare coins in your collection, here's what you should do. First, take a good look at the condition of your 1934 Buffalo nickel. Is it in great shape with clear details on the buffalo and the Native American's face? If it's well preserved, it could be worth significantly more than just 5 cents. Then, check the mint mark. If it's a 1934D, that's a good sign that you might have a key date coin. Finally, take a closer look for any signs of a mint error like a double strike, misalignment, or clipped planchet. If you find one of these errors, you may have a rare find on your hands. The best way to determine the value of your coin is to get it graded by a professional numismatics grading service. Organizations like the PCGS or NGC can evaluate your coin, assess its condition, and give it an official grade, which will help you understand its true value in the market. To wrap things up, the 1934 Buffalo nickel is much more than just a piece of history. It's a coin that, in the right condition or with the right error, can be worth thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. If you have one of these coins in your collection, or if you come across one in your coin hunt, make sure to give it a closer look. You could be holding onto a coin that's worth as much as $75,000. Today we've got something really exciting for you, a deep dive into the value of the 1936 Buffalo 5-cent coin. This coin, often seen as just a small piece of American history, has captured the interest of numismatists for decades. But what many people don't know is that the 1936 Buffalo nickel could be worth a lot more than just a few cents. Some of these coins are worth tens of thousands of dollars. So, if you have one in your collection, or happen to come across one, you could be holding a hidden treasure. Now, let's rewind a bit and talk about the history of this iconic coin. The Buffalo nickel, also known as the Indian head nickel, was first introduced in 1913, and it became one of the most popular coins in American history. It was designed by James Earl Fraser, an American sculptor, and was meant to capture the essence of the American West. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll find a profile of a Native American chief. The design was based on 3 different Native American leaders, combining their features to create a dignified and powerful image. This was an attempt to pay homage to the Native American people, who were a major part of the country's history. On the reverse side, the coin features a buffalo, often interpreted as the American bison, standing proudly. This image symbolizes the strength and resilience of the country's frontier spirit. The design is rugged, powerful, and quite striking, making it one of the most beloved coin designs in American numismatic history. The 1936 Buffalo nickel is part of the later years of this series, and it is a particularly sought-after year for collectors. Why? Well, 1936 is a key date in the Buffalo nickel series, and it also marks a period when the coin was nearing the end of its run. The series was eventually replaced in 1938 by the Jefferson nickel, but in 1936, the Buffalo nickel was still circulating widely across the United States. That means the 1936 Buffalo nickel, like all coins from that era, saw heavy circulation, leading to wear and tear that can affect its value today. But here's the thing, if you happen to find a 1936 Buffalo nickel in excellent condition, or if it has a minting error, you could be sitting on a coin that is worth a small fortune. So, what makes the 1936 Buffalo nickel so valuable? First and foremost, the condition of the coin is everything. As a rule of thumb, the better the condition, the more valuable the coin. Most 1936 Buffalo nickels were worn down from years of use in circulation, so finding one in mint condition is already rare. A coin that looks almost brand new or one that has been well preserved can demand a higher price among collectors. But what really sets the 1936 Buffalo nickel apart is its potential for minting errors. Minting errors happen when something goes wrong during the production process, and they can make a coin much rarer, and much more valuable, than a standard, error-free coin. One of the most valuable errors to look for in the 1936 Buffalo nickel is a double die error. This happens when the coin's die, which is the metal stamp used to create the design, shifts or malfunctions during the minting process. The result? The design appears to be printed twice, creating a double effect on the text and images. If you have a 1936 Buffalo nickel with a double die error, it can significantly increase the coin's value. Another rare and valuable error to watch out for is an off-center strike. This occurs when the coin isn't aligned properly during minting, resulting in a coin where part of the design is cut off or shifted to one side. Off-center coins are highly collectible, especially when the error is dramatic. A Buffalo nickel with a noticeable off-center strike can fetch much higher prices than a standard coin. There are also clipped planchet errors to consider. A clipped planchet happens when the metal blank used to strike the coin isn't fully cut or aligned before it's struck by the dies. This results in a coin with an uneven or jagged edge. Clipped planchet coins are rare, and they can be especially valuable if they're in good condition. So, you might be wondering, how much can a 1936 Buffalo nickel actually be worth? Well, as you can probably guess, it depends on the condition and any potential errors the coin might have. Most 1936 Buffalo nickels in good condition are worth a modest amount, usually a few dollars above face value. However, a coin that's in excellent condition, or one that has a rare minting error, can fetch much higher prices. For example, a 1936 Buffalo nickel in uncirculated condition, meaning it looks almost like it just came out of the mint, can easily be worth several $100s. But if you have a rare version of the coin with a minting error like a double die or off-center strike, the value can skyrocket. A 1936 Buffalo nickel with a well-defined double die error, for instance, could be worth several $1,000s. But wait, it gets even better. If you happen to have a particularly rare and well-preserved 1936 Buffalo nickel, you could be looking at a coin worth $72,000, that's right, $72,000 for a single 1936 Buffalo nickel. Can you imagine finding one of these coins in your pocket change, or tucked away in an old coin collection? It's the kind of discovery that could change your life. Now, how do you know if your 1936 Buffalo nickel is worth this kind of money? First, take a look at the condition of the coin. Is it well preserved with clear details? Does the buffalo on the reverse side still show intricate details? If it's in excellent shape, it's worth more than you might think. Then, check for any minting errors. Look closely for signs of doubling on the text or design, or see if the coin is off-center or has a clipped edge. If you spot any of these, you could have a rare gem on your hands. The best way to determine the true value of your 1936 Buffalo nickel is to get it professionally graded by a trusted coin grading service. Organizations like PCGS or NGC can assess the condition of the coin and give it an official grade. This will help you understand its market value and ensure that you're getting the best price if you decide to sell or auction it.To wrap up. The 1936 Buffalo nickel is a beautiful piece of American history, but it's also a potential treasure trove for collectors. Whether it's the stunning design, the rare mint errors, or the exceptional condition, this coin is much more valuable than its face value. If you happen to have one of these coins, or if you come across one in your collection, make sure to take a good look. It could be worth as much as $72,000. Thanks for watching. I hope this video has given you some insight into the value of the 1936 Buffalo nickel. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss out on future coin discoveries. Happy collecting, and keep searching for those rare finds.